Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and get right to what matters. Today, we're diving into a really interesting watch, the Tissot PRX Digital. Yeah, our source material is mainly from Tissot PRX Digital, a modern revival. And our mission, really, is to figure out how Tissot managed to take this super popular classic design, the PRX, and, well, give it this modern digital spin. We'll dig into the features, its history, which is maybe a bit surprising, and just what makes this mix so compelling. Okay, let's get into it. So Tissot had this huge hit, right? The analog PRX, everyone loved it. But how do you take something known for that smooth analog feel and stick a digital screen on it without it feeling wrong? That seems like the big challenge here and maybe why this PRX Digital is worth talking about.
That's exactly it, isn't it? That's the core puzzle. The PRX Digital fundamentally takes the series out of that purely analog space. It's definitely pushing into more high-tech, almost tool watch territory. But, and this is key, it somehow keeps those sporty, luxurious elements that made the original such a runaway success. It doesn't ditch them.
Right, that's the balancing act. How do they actually do that? How can it be both high-tech and keep that sort of sporty luxury vibe? Do they clash?
Well, what's really smart here is Tissot isn't just, slapping a digital module into a PRX case and calling it a day. They're actually reaching back into their own history. That's how they justify it. It makes the whole thing feel more like a natural step, not some sudden weird turn. The PRX Digital is explicitly an homage, paying respect to older Tissot digital watches from the 70s and 80s. The sources point specifically to the Stratos from 1976 as a big influence.
Ah, the Stratos, okay.
So yeah, it's not just brand new for the sake of being new. It's kind of a revival, bringing back a part of their digital past that maybe people forgot about.
That historical context definitely helps make sense of it. But I wonder, does that history just make it okay? Or does it actually make it better for someone buying it today, someone who maybe doesn't even know about the Stratos?
That's a really good question. I think for some people, yeah, it's just going to be a cool looking watch. Retro vibes, integrated bracelet, done. But for others, maybe the enthusiasts or people who do a little digging, finding out about that history adds something. It adds authenticity. It shows it's not just Tissot jumping on a bandwagon, but something that's actually part of their DNA.
Right, it gives it a story.
Exactly. And that narrative, that heritage, it matters to a lot of buyers, especially those looking beyond just the surface aesthetics.
Okay, the history angle makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk practicalities. What about the watch itself? The specs, the nuts and bolts. What are you actually getting for your money?
All right, let's get into the details. Price-wise, you're looking at somewhere between $375 and $450 US. It comes in two case sizes, which is great.
Okay.
Got 35 millimeter and 40 millimeters. Steel cases for both.
So options for different wrists. Good.
Definitely. And thickness is interesting, 10.94 millimeter, which is actually pretty slim for a digital, especially one built like this. It should fit under a cuff. Lug width is either 11 millimeter or 12 millimeter, depending on the case size. And crucially, the screen, the dial cover, it's sapphire crystal.
Oh, sapphire. That's a premium touch, scratch resistance.
Exactly. Very important for an everyday watch. Plus, you get 100 meters of water resistance.
Pretty solid. So swimming's okay.
Yep, should be fine for swimming, daily wear, getting caught in the rain, no problem. And inside, it's powered by a Swiss-made quartz movement, the caliber DGT 2040.
Okay, let's pause there. Sapphire, 100 meters, Swiss quartz. Sounds good. But that price, $375 to $450 for a digital quartz watch. Isn't that kind of pushing it when you can find entry-level automatic watches from decent brands in that same ballpark? What's the value proposition?
That's a fair point, and I think it highlights Tissot's strategy here. They're betting big on the design. They know how popular that PRX integrated bracelet look is. They're counting on that aesthetic, plus the historical link we talked about, to justify the price. It's maybe less about the movement type itself and more about the whole package, the iconic design, the brand heritage, now with a digital twist. You're paying for that specific combination.
Got it. So the value is really tied up in the PRX name and look. Okay, so assuming you're bought into that, what can the watch actually do? What functions have they packed in there?
It covers the essentials really well, actually. Everything's on that sapphire screen, and you use the 3 pushers on the side of the case to navigate. You get your main time display, obviously, with the date. And there's a second time zone.
Useful for travel.
Yeah, definitely. You also get a stopwatch, an alarm function, a countdown timer, and a mode that shows the full date, month. Oh, and importantly, there's a backlight for the screen. Apparently quite strong, which is good for seeing it in the dark. A very practical touch.
Okay, so the standard suite of digital functions. Some might say it sounds a bit basic, especially compared to, smartwatches doing everything under the sun. Are we missing something?
I don't think so, actually. I
Yeah.
think that simplicity is part of the appeal for many people. We've all been there, right? Smartwatch battery dies, too many notifications buzzing your wrist.
Yeah.
The PRX Digital is almost like an antidote to that. It does its job reliably, tells the time, gives you those useful tools, but without the constant distraction. It's digital, but it's focused, purposeful, not trying to be a tiny phone.
That makes sense. It's a different philosophy, more of a dedicated timekeeping tool again.
Hmm.
So you mentioned that blend earlier, tool-oriented and sport luxury. How do these features, like the sapphire, the functions, the water resistance, how do they actually create that specific blend?
It's about how those elements work together. Think about the tool aspect. The robust build is key. Sapphire crystal is tough. 100-meter water resistance means you don't have to baby it. It's practical, reliable, built for daily use, maybe even some light adventure.
Right, the functional side.
Exactly, but then the sport luxury comes from the execution. How that digital display, which is crisp and modern, is integrated so cleanly into that iconic PRX case design. And that bracelet, the integrated bracelet, is the signature PRX element. It flows seamlessly, it looks refined, elegant even. So yeah, it's tough like a tool, but it wears and looks sophisticated like a luxury sports watch. It bridges that gap pretty effectively.
I see how those pieces fit together now. So, bringing it back to the listener, why should you, listening now, really care about this Tissot PRX Digital?
Yeah.
Beyond, maybe thinking it looks cool or has neat features, what's the bigger takeaway?
Well, if you zoom out a bit, the PRX Digital isn't just another watch release. It's actually a really good case study. It shows how these big, established heritage brands are trying to innovate, how they navigate using new tech while still respecting their own past. It offers this unique mix that can appeal to very different people. Maybe you like the vintage look, maybe you like modern tech, maybe you like both. This watch kind of speaks to all of them.
So it's a lesson in brand strategy almost.
In a way, yeah. It shows how you can make heritage feel current, relevant for people today who are used to digital everything. So understanding this watch through this deep dive, it helps you quickly get a handle on how brands are thinking, how they're evolving. It gives you insight into design trends, consumer desires in the watch world. It's sort of a shortcut to being more informed about the industry.
That's a great perspective. It really is a fascinating blend, isn't it? How Tissot managed to weave together the past and the present, maybe even pointing to the future, all in this one watch. It's definitely more than just the sum of its parts.
And it leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? In this world that's just getting more and more digital, what kind of lasting appeal does something like this hold? A classic design, but seen through a digital lens. Does it maybe suggest a future where our tech, our devices become less like disposable gadgets and more like, well, cherished objects, things that blend the latest tech with a kind of timeless style and feel, something to think about.